It's your boy Jamal Jamil, Mall Talk Network, back with another episode. Breaking news: the Joe Budden podcast is kaput, done. If you've been paying attention for the last 6 months to a year, you could tell things were starting to go downhill. I mean, if you've been a fan of the podcast, then you would know that a lot of things have been not normal, to say the least. Rory's been offering Joe to scraps multiple times. Joe's been taking jabs at Rory's relationship that failed. The pod has gone under. I'm sad to see it, honestly, because that's my favorite podcast. I've been watching it since the early 100s, so I consider myself a day one. But at the same time, Joe had to let them niggas know what was good. If you watch the last 2 episodes, Joe was biting his tongue like a motherfucker. He wasn't trying to cast any aspersions. He wasn't trying to hurt anyone's feelings. But this episode, he held no punches back. He stopped biting his tongue and he let it be known. Pretty much, I mean, he took shots at them the whole pod. He let them know that he's the boss and he makes all the business decisions and it's his choice. And I see the dynamic and when things went wrong. It seemed like Rory and Maul both were using their friendships as a crutch, or no, they were using their friendships as leverage in business, and you can't do that. As Joe proved on there by having Ian, they talked about all the numbers, the raises, how much money they've made, and how overly compensated they've been for the positions that they work in. They weren't satisfied with that. There's no other way to look at it. They weren't happy with what was going on. They felt as though that Joe was lying on the books. Joe was playing with the money. So I believe he said Rory audited him, and he took that as disrespect. That was the final straw, and Joe had enough. There's no other way for him. I mean, he had enough of it. What do you want him to do? You're supposed to be his friend, but you're over here auditing him. An audit means that there's a belief that the business is a mess, or that whoever's in control of the business is doing something shady. What does Joe do from here on out? We saw the Ish and Ice podcast launched. It's sad to see, man, because if you really watch this episode, if you watch the old episodes, it just hurts to think that this friend, I'm not even the podcast, the friendship has been fractured amongst all 3 of them, and 4 if you include Parks. The friendship is fractured. Obviously it's none of my business and it's not my friendship, but I can only imagine just like all the years and all the memories and moments that they've had with each other, and they put it all on the line for this podcast, and it worked. It worked. They created a multi-million-dollar business. They've launched themselves into positions that I don't even think Joe ever thought he would be in. And it's crumbled. It's crumbled to the point where I don't think they can come back. Joe put it out there. He let them know where they are and where he stands with them. He said that if they try to start a podcast, it's going to be in breach of their contract, and he's going to sue the pants off of them. That's what he said specifically. This shit is a wrap, dog. I mean, I don't even want to come in here and give secondhand opinions, but we all see the people online complaining about the fact that it's on Patreon and nobody wants to pay a charge. So I'm out here just giving y'all my perspective. I've listened to the whole pod. I went on Patreon, bought it, and listened to it. So I've listened to the whole thing. Joe is protecting his business. He wasn't going to allow his friendships or anything to get in the way of what he's created, which started before he even met Maul and Rory. Like he's always mentioning, 21 years in the business. That's way before he met them. If I put myself in his shoes, I probably would have did the same thing. And it probably took some time. He had to build himself up to this moment. Like I said, look at the last 2 pods. He was biting his tongue. He was trying hard not to say anything. He didn't want to come across abrasive or just disrespectful and arrogant. So he bit his tongue. He let them get their shit off. But then he got audited. Then they went on vacation. And he even said he bet they won't come in. That he bet that they won't be there. And they didn't show up. They didn't show up. Breach of the contract. Joe had enough. They were pretty much punching him in the face with his hands tied behind his back, using the whole friendship thing. Of course he loves them, but business is business. And if they're all being honest, Maul, Rory, Parks, and Joe, we all knew at some point this was going to happen. The age-old rule, never mix friends and business, family and business. They got this far. They got this far. How many people can say they got this far with their true, real friends? You know what I mean? So like I said, I don't want to do too much talking. The podcast is over. Joe Budden podcast is a wrap. I can't wait to see what else he comes up with, because I'm a Joe Budden fan, and I'm a fan of Rory and Malls as well. So I'm going to keep track of everything that these guys are doing, where they're going with their endeavors. A lot of people have never seen my channel. Subscribe to it, comment down below, let me know what you think. Mall Talk Network, I'm out, y'all.